at Patrick Whelan's studio. How are you today, Patrick?
I'm doing great.
Can you explain a little bit about your artwork?
I guess it would fall under the umbrella of fantastic art, principally figurative. Some of it is fantasy, some of it is symbolist, some of it is straightforward traditional portraiture, and all of it is interesting and different.
Okay, can you describe your angel book?
The Angel Book is based on a show that I created that was in the summer of 2011, and we had artists enter work from all over the country and the world doing their versions of angels. And they're in every different media and style and approach you can think of, with every different kind of philosophical approach as well to look at. And we've coupled the art with quotes by famous and interesting people from throughout modern and ancient history. And it's actually it's a very good read. It takes about half an hour. You were born with wings, why prefer to crawl through life?
Can you explain a little bit about your technique?
The old master's technique.
Yes.
It begins with a very tightly rendered pencil drawing, and then I put in a sepia-toned underpainting over that, which defines the darks and the lights and brings out more of the details. And when that's dry, I glaze colors over the top of that, and then when that's dry, I begin the final painting over the top of that. And the final painting takes as long to do as the first 3 steps combined. When I get to the final painting, I'm just basically painting like a square inch at a time. Michael Jackson bought 7 of my paintings. He came to a show that we had in Beverly Hills at the Fair and Gardens in May of 2009. I had no expectations for that show. It started out very, very slow. But I got back to my booth, and there was a line of people there, you know, buying art, and we sold quite a bit right there. And then I thought we had done really well, and the weekend was great, and I was ready to go home. And then about an hour later, I was standing there talking to my associate, Amber, and this little girl came up with a little digital camera and started taking pictures of one of my paintings called Meditations. And she was taking flyers and stuff off of the table. And Amber was getting ready to chase her away. I'm glad she didn't. So we had no clue who this little girl was. Apparently, she was Paris Jackson, and she says, yeah. Anyway, while she's talking to her, I see out of the corner of my eye these other people starting to walk up. And I look over and I see there's somebody standing there with a fedora, and he had a bandana on and sunglasses and had an umbrella. And I just stared at him. It looked like the oddest person. And then I see, the only thing showing was the nose sticking out. And as soon as I saw the nose, I said, my God, that's Michael Jackson, because nobody on earth had a nose like that. His children. He bought 3 illustrations for his children, 1 for each of them. He bought Alice in Wonderland, he bought Peter Pan, of course, and he bought a pirate illustration book. And I said to Amber, I said, do you know who that was? And she looks up at me like, I said, that was Michael Jackson, man. And she said, that was not Michael Jackson, you know. Anyway, a couple minutes later, this other guy comes back, and he hands a card to her that says Michael Jackson Company on it. And he says, Mr. Jackson would like to buy that painting. Well, during the interim, his people were calling us almost every day asking us if the money had been wired, because they said, Michael really wants his art. Is the money there yet? Is the money there yet? Almost every day we heard from them. Finally, someone from AEG Live called us and told us that they apologized to us for the holdup and said that the money was on its way, being wired into our account. It was at that point that we put the art into a truck and drove up to his house, to the mansion he was renting on Carewood Way. We delivered the art there, and he was supposed to meet with me because he wanted to meet the artist. And anyway, we went into the courtyard, and it was completely silent. It was all dead in there. As soon as we got out of the truck, all of these people came out of nowhere. All these guys dressed identically in suits and descended onto our vehicle and emptied the art out and disappeared into the house with it, just like magic. And then Michael Jackson's assistant came out by himself, and he said, well, I have good news, and I have bad news. He said the bad news is that Michael won't be able, or he's always called him Mr. Jackson. So Mr. Jackson won't be able to meet with you today because he's still in bed. He said the good news is he wants to meet with you later. And then less than 2 weeks later, Michael Jackson was dead. All I knew of Michael Jackson before that was the gobbledygook I saw in the media, which mostly trashed him. What I discovered was how unfair it was, the things that were going on about him, and that there was really a very genuine, loving, caring person there that had done lots of good in the world. And they don't talk about that enough in the media.